Welcome back to the Anachroschism. It's been quite some time for us and a bit of time for you. There's a couple more episodes that are going to have aired after the new year, but now you've basically caught up to us. All of our stockpile is gone, and now it's time to begin anew with our players in the lovely city of Falstock, where one of their favorite people in the entire continent, Whitwer Thorogood, appears to have holed himself up inside of his manor, and the party has been discussing with Cavis and their old pal Mina how they might dispatch of Whitwer or perhaps turn him to their advantage in the upcoming trial against Faust Dryden. And now, as they've gone and had Mina go out and look for Gothak, another former ally of sorts, and Cavis round up any crusaders in the area, we resume with the group essentially having spent the afternoon. There is the question of, would you want to do anything in Falstock? You're pretty familiar with the city. You know there's a few things to do around town, but
they have nothing for us.
It's also a question of if you want to risk being spotted in advance.
Yeah,
so.
I kind of don't want to risk that, so I'm probably just going to hang out.
Okay. Mina did say that you could chill at the inn. She was a little bit concerned about housing you when you first arrived, but knowing that you intend to move on Whitwer, she is no longer having any reservations about your reservations.
Aha!
Ha!
So, a few hours pass. You kind of, grab a meal and pass the time with some idle conversation. Are welcome to read if you're Tessian, or if Karash wants to work on his handwriting and his figures. All those are fair game, but
His maths.
yeah, he looks like he's terrified. After some time passes, eventually everybody gathers. Mina ushers you back into the room of solitude that you've visited like a half dozen times now, but one that should at least prevent any unwanted people listening in. And along with Mina and Cavis now, you do see a few different people. Looks like about 5 of them decked out in the Crusader regalia, kind of milling about the common area downstairs at the inn. They are not invited back for this particular conversation, but they do appear to have gathered at Cavis's request. And Gothak, the towering Goliath, also awkwardly steps his way through the door, having to duck underneath the frame, and kind of cram himself into what is not the biggest storeroom with the, more than a half dozen of you in there now. It's getting a little bit crowded, but it's not that bad. Gothak kind of looks you over as you enter, and he says, it's good to see you again. I wish this were more of a social visit, but I suppose if I get to bash in Whitwer's head, that's a nice little backup plan.
Should we reserve it for you? If we get him, would you like dibs?
Oh, I don't know. I suspect a couple of you might like to do it too, but I'm not going to be opposed to it if you want to let me have the thrill.
Rock, paper, scissors, right now, for which one of us gets to kill Whitwer Thorogood.
All right.
Now, to be clear, just to put it out there, ideally we would like Whitwer to come in so that we can use his, knowledge against...
Yeah, but, just, if it comes to killing him. But Tessian brings up a good point. Do we do it on 3 or after 3?
Well, for among my people, it's always after 3. It's on shoot.
So 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yes. Make sure you do it up where the camera can see you.
1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. It's an honor to have lost to you in this game of skill.
Well, you're a bright one, Isaac, but I have business acumen beyond your years. And yes, Mina did tell me the plan is not to bash his head in. It's just, I don't share her optimism that he's going to cooperate. I think some head bashing might be required, which is why I came along. But I admit we'll do it your way first.
I'm hoping he's a desperate man at the end of his rope, but...
In all fairness, I suspect he is.
But we'll
I
see.
suspect he's very, very desperate. Yes.
Cavis kind of chimes in at this point. He says, all right then, well, I suppose it's time then. Are you settled on this course of action? Once we go down this road, there's no turning back.
Well, I don't really see a better option for us. We should, we need to do everything we can to, put Faust in prison, away as long as we can, and stop whatever he's doing. Whitwer, I can't say his name apparently, is either with us or against us, and the sooner we know that, the better.
Gothak says, Mina asked if I had anything to give you, and while I don't have a whole lot in the way of weapons in stock right now, I do have this, and he produces a different-looking vial than what you've been accustomed to with the more run-of-the-mill potions you've received to this point. And he hands you a potion of superior healing.
Damn.
That's right, we've jumped right past greater to superior. He says, just the one I have on hand, but might come in handy in a pinch. Again, I mean, I can hope that things go great, but in my experience, Whitwer never has things go the way you think they're going to.
Well, given your large stature and propensity for fighting up close, perhaps you hold on to it in case of an emergency, and if one of us should go down, you're more than welcome to administer it.
He says, I'll be happy to if you'd like, but it could just as easily go in my mouth in case he pulls something on me when I'm standing in the front.
Well, fair enough, although Karash is capable of bringing someone back from the brink like that.
Yes.
But if you wish, Tessian will extend his hand, I guess, to take it.
Okay. Add it to your inventory so you don't forget.
Oh,
Or you'll forget.
God, I had notes about, like, the people I'm supposed to be searching for, like, the guns and stuff, too. I don't know where those are. But anyways. Superior... Oh, you know what? Maybe they're in my notes in Roll20.
Do you remember what a superior is? How many
8d4 plus 8, I believe.
Yeah, it should be plus the number of dice.
Yeah, I'll double check real quick. Potion of superior healing.
Cool.
8d4 plus 8.
Say, yeah.
It's pretty good.
It is.
Considering potions of healing across the board are not phenomenal, especially at the higher levels. But that's better than most.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in 5th edition, 1 HP is as valuable as any number of HP sometimes.
But only if you're down on the ground.
In response to what you said, Tessian, Gothak says, yes, I had heard that Karash has been helping in the city at a couple different points. I appreciate what you're doing for the people, Karash.
It is the right thing to do.
Father Orman was gushing with praise. Not something he comes forward with readily most of the time, but he had only the highest things to say about you.
He seems like a very nice man himself. I hope we get to spend more time together in the future, but not patching people up.
Well, I suppose that's fair, yes. Anything else the party would like to do?
No,
you-
Isaac has his game face on.
Oh shit, that game face.
Yeah.
Camera tricks.
Ready.
So, with 5 Crusaders in tow, and Cavus and Gothak, and your party, you guys head out of the Gilded Alehouse and make your way to the familiar confines of the very northern part of the city. We're surrounded by a sort of semicircle gate with an archway that has pretty much the only entry point. You start to approach Whitworth Thorogood's Manor, and really, without much provocation, some of the memories of last time sort of come flowing back. It went decently overall. It wasn't necessarily fulfilled the way you wanted, but you also escaped without anybody being hurt, so it was fine.
That's not true. I think I shocked Isaac, so, you know.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
We didn't really go over the plan, Tessian. I'm realizing that, I don't know, I'm just kind of climbing up a little bit.
It'll be fine. A lot of this sort of thing is improvisation. There's no way to know his attitude.
That's
or
what I'm bad at, asking me to shoot a gun. It's fine, but improvising some kind of diplomatic speech is not really something I ever learned.
conviction, Isaac, conviction. You want your father put away, and you're willing to put aside anything to help make sure that happens. Simply impress that upon him, and I'll help with the rest.
Oh, I think that's a good plan. I have to use the bathroom. Damn it. No, it's fine. I'll be fine. Just get in there and demand what you want. And he's just like talking to himself now. He's just mumbling. Like, just get in there. Say what you need to say. This man is an asshole. But you can't kill him. Can you? No, you can't.
This gets you a bit of side-eye from Cavus. He goes, "You going to be all right there?"
No, I'm fine. Why don't you worry about you? Yeah, I got it.
Tessin puts a hand on Isaac's shoulder and is like, "We'll be fine. It's just the last time he was speaking to him was quite the adrenaline rush, quite a fight. So Isaac's got this. No worries."
Isaac, when you are talking to a person that you want to convince of something, it is best to do something that makes them think they are going to get something they want, or to simply give them something they want, and they will go along with just about anything.
Where's this coming from?
I do this all the time. What are you talking about?
I see. Yeah, yes. In the mini conversations that you have, Karash, you're very vocal and you're often using linguistic tricks.
Karash is talking about a very simple thing. It's trade. At the end of the day, he's in a lot of trouble right now. And the best thing for us to do is to let him know that we are willing to pardon such transgressions should he help us. A simple trade. We will let him slide so long as he assists us. Easy.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay.
Usually I go with beer, but that seems to be a good idea.
I can't
too.
offer Whitworth Thorogood beer for his help, Karash.
I'm just saying.
But,
it
you
works.
know, I understand. I don't mean to snap at you. The sentiment is right. Okay, I'm ready.
Everybody make a perception
game
check.
face.
Oh, God.
Let's get them dice rollers going.
No.
You don't have to.
He's heard me talking.
You can be oblivious if you so choose.
26.
5.
Oh my god, 19!
Woo.
I gotta mute the
Good
sound.
job, Crash. Whoop.
Wow, we.
When our lowest rolls are Jason and I with the 19s, I'll take it.
You guys are hyper focused.
We got this.
As you approach the manor and start getting close to the gate, all of you see. In fact, what's just your companions are not doing so well.
Great.
Natural 3 and a
They're
natural.
too busy side-eyeing us.
They're worried about
Yeah,
you
we
guys.
look like a bunch of imbeciles over here, and they're like, "Oh God, what did we agree to?"
Oh, we're being marched to our deaths. Natural 3 to natural 5. The four of you in particular, as you're just laser focused and keeping an eye on things to see what is the same, what might have changed, you see the same setup as far as guards at the archway. 2 in front on each side, and you can sort of make out, since you all rolled pretty well, like you can see like the shoes of a couple more perched on the inside of the archway. Not blocking entry, just like the last time you were here, just standing alongside the pillars of the archway, but seemingly not preventing anybody from entering, although you suspect that's probably not the case, but at least on the surface, they're not just standing right in front of the gap. The doors to the manor behind them, you can, past them, you can see through there, appear to be closed. And for better or worse, one of the things you're noticing is you don't see anybody else milling about the courtyard. Like, you're kind of keeping an eye on things as you keep walking forward. And beyond the guards at the archway, there don't appear to be any at the door. And you don't see any more in the courtyard. For a couple of you, it rings a bell that there were some milling about that area last time. I think Isaac had seen them at one point. I think it's possible Tessian did when he was coming through, being escorted by the guards. Some of you remember that. It's a small thing, but still. Doesn't appear to be the case this time. Whatever manpower is posted at the archway appears to be considered adequate, And in your time approaching the gate, you don't see anybody else. Lena and Isaac. The other thing that you notice as you start to get closer is that once you have a vantage point on it, the what was it? A closet, a shed. Where is
Shed.
this thing?
There was a
shed,
shed over
right?
there.
Because it had like gardening stuff in it, whatever.
Yeah.
The shed is nowhere to be found.
Ooh.
Sometime in the last 3 weeks, it appears to have been razed to the ground, as
That's
an RAZED.
interesting.
And there is just a flat expanse of land that still kind of sticks out because it doesn't have the same well-kept grassy look that its surrounding area does. But you remember that area, and this one is more like Karash and Lena in particular, having hit out there and then run from it.
Yep.
There is nothing there now, and whatever path down that was inside that shed there was also appears to have been covered up or filled in or something of that nature. The path to the sewers, or from the sewers, depending on your direction, is no more.
That used to be a secret entrance. Secret entrance over here. Not anymore. Now he's trapped here with us.
To do business, of
To
course.
do business.
Gothak says, so that's where you popped out last time, from the sewers.
Yes, it was right over there.
Yes, it was.
Well, just as well we weren't going the sneaky approach then. Not really my favorite anyways.
Yes, we would have been in for a surprise, that's for sure.
Although, there, we'll get to that later. Sparklies in the sewers. And
Yes,
had the
I was
same
going to
thought.
We should see if he's done anything down there, since it might have led him to it. But
some homework
anyway,
for us for next time.
Yes.
Yay, homework!
Yay!
As you approach the archway with your group of 4, 6, 10, 11, the guards sort of instinctively go to their weapons, both holding swords on the front side. And there is a moment where one of them kind of looks over your group and he says, "Well, this is interesting. What are you doing here, Gothak?" And Gothak kind of looks surprised for a half second. He goes, "Well, you know how it is, mate. Just business. Always business. Something I need to discuss with Whitwer. You mind if we have a word with him?" Guards kind of look at each other. At this point, you can see the two in the back side of the archway are also kind of peering around the corner, kind of wondering, like, what in the world is this? And they're also taken aback slightly when they see the size of this group that's at the front gate that now outnumbers them by a pretty decent margin. Guard kind of thinks about it for a second. And you don't recognize these, by the way, Tessian.
yeah,
The one man you happen to get at least somewhat cozy with last time does not appear to be one of the ones stationed out here.
I'm probably fired or killed, so whatever.
It's hard to say. You have been gone for 3 weeks. That's a lot of time to murder someone and hide their body.
Mm-hmm.
So the guard that was talking to
Where the shed was.
Gothak, yeah, he's actually down there underneath where the shed was.
I was going to say, he's buried alive.
Yeah, that's great. 2 birds, 1 stone. Guard that's talking to Gothak goes, "Well, I don't know if he's interested in an audience with anybody, but let me go see." And you can see he's hesitating. Like, this is probably not what he's supposed to do, but given the sort of brazen manpower standing before him, he is going to go along with it.
And Tessin will say, "This is about Faust Dryden. We've come to offer Whitwer a deal. Please pass that on to him."
He kind of gives you a somewhat surprised look of his own now, and then nods and says, "All right, wait here." Heads inside. You can see, some of you have pretty decent passive perception. So Lena, you in particular,
Yes.
Lena, as you're just kind of keeping an eye on him as he makes his way to the manor, you see him very quickly unlock the front door before he heads in, which is different than last time. Last time the front door was not locked.
Yeah.
Oh, he's scared.
I might like lean over and whisper to the person closest to me that they security seems rather high this time.
We
Locking
did our
the
job,
door.
then.
Yes, we made him scared. Hopefully we can maybe use that to our advantage somehow.
Exactly.
Question is, does he think we are scarier than Faust Dryden?
Let us hope so.
Cavis kind of leans over this point. He goes, "Yes, that's what concerns me too. But at the very least, your little ploy last time definitely had an effect on him. I mean, Whitworth's always been cautious, almost to a fault, but having all of his men inside his place of residence, that's a level beyond even what he's normally accustomed to."
I wonder how he felt about that. We killed him, essentially, had it not been, of course, that there was an illusion there. But it has to screw with someone, right?
We may be able to use this to our advantage in this discussion, Isaac. Just keep in mind that the most important thing he's looking for now is to feel safe and secure. If we can play into that, it might work to our advantage.
And what you did last time might have an effect on that then. On the one hand, maybe it didn't have any impact because he knew he couldn't be harmed, but on the other, if you were willing to open fire like that on him, he might have to reconsider his choice of words this time. I suppose we'll see.
So play it like a loose cannon. Got it.
No.
If I would, I would
I'm
prefer
kidding,
you
I'm kidding.
not. Well, remember I told you not to do that as much. I would really like it if you didn't do it right in front of me.
You got to develop a sense of humor. Come on.
Yeah, the Empress said that to me once too. I didn't think that was funny either, but maybe you're right.
Consider it a direct order from the princess. Empress, whatever.
The princess.
Empress, I swear to God. How dare you demote her?
You went too far on me for a half second there. Couple minutes pass as you're making small talk, and it's sort of tactical and sort of just to kind of keep it loose and not fret too much about what might be waiting for you on the other side of this. Those minutes pass and guard returns, comes out, locks the door behind him.
Before the guards re-arrive, I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
30 feet or 60?
It's 30 feet, but it lasts for 10 minutes, and hopefully that's long enough to get me into the building.
Yeah, you can time it as such. At the moment, you don't sense anything within 30 feet other than the magic users around you that give off kind of like a slight blip on your radar that you're accustomed to ignoring at this point because it's not really what you're looking for most of the time. But beyond that, nothing else seems out of place, at least for now. But yeah, it does last for a bit, so we'll see if that comes up later. Anything else? Okay.
You know what? Mage armor, I suppose. I might as well just fucking do it now.
Okay. On yourself, or are you twinning it?
I can't remember all y'all in your armors. Is it better for you, Isaac, or no?
Probably
I
Lena.
don't think so anymore. I think Lena, though.
My armor class is a 14.
Do you have any dexterity?
Yeah, what's your plus to dex?
Oh, hold on. I'm looking. It's a 1. My dex is a 1, so.
And you say 13 or 14?
Oh, it's a 12. My armor class is a 14.
Then it's
I'll
no
be
better
the
for
same.
you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So just yourself then?
Just myself. I'll use my once a day one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guard comes back out, closes the door behind him, seemingly locks it, walks back across the courtyard, which only takes a matter of seconds. It's only 150 feet, maybe 200 tops, but looks at the other guards real quick, sort of gives them a nod, and then turns to the group and he says, "All right, he's interested in seeing you. We have to accompany you, of course, but come with us and he'll grant you an audience."
Well, lead the way.
And similar to how they accompanied you in the manor last time, Tessie, and they sort of surround you in like a box formation. So there's one on each corner, just kind of keeping the group within an invisible fence of sorts, just showing a presence on all sides. All of them with hands at ready on the weapons that they have on, but none of them. you're kind of accustomed to people who are like close to drawing and some who are not at this point. You're all fairly well tuned with combat, and this seems more like a ceremonial gesture than somebody who's like ready to draw and attack. He leads you up to the front doors, and you can see now that you're up close. He does indeed have a key that he is using to unlock the doors, and it sounds like a pretty heavy bolt when he turns the key. Like, this is not just something that you could kick down with relative ease, that this is something a little bit more than that, but nonetheless turns the key. You hear the loud clicking noise, and doors swing open to the familiar for most of you foyer area. Karash and Lena, this is new to you, but the rest of you came through here in one form or another, either invited or sneakily.
Actually, I think maybe Grail and I came through here before with Tessie, and weren't we like dressed up?
Yes.
So it's everybody but Karash, all right? Yeah, because you were his arm candy.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Grail was
you guys
with
were.
me, and she couldn't tie the freaking knot on the bed.
Yeah,
I
she
think
was
that was
panicking.
another time.
Yeah. That's right, yeah, because Whitwer commented on Tessian's arm candy, and it was skeevy and gross.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he's not. There's not a lot of subtlety to Whitwer Thoroughgood. He's just kind of a jerk. So inside this Karash for the first time, you're seeing it. Everybody else, it's this kind of familiar-looking thing where there's a smattering of windows on the first floor, and the main takeaway, not to go into it all again from the top, is like plenty of nice things inside the manor, but all of them just strewn about. No form or function to it. No arrangement of it for display purposes. It's just like hoarding almost. Not to the extent where there's a ton of it, but just like it's pushed against walls and stashed in corners. And there's nice pieces of art and jars and clay work and sculptures, but none of them are... You were at the Duchess's place in Harnstead, and she had a very like sense of refinement to her place of residence. This is, again, just helter-skelter. I have things, but I don't care where they are. I just want to have them. Beyond that, the first floor seems pretty much identical to the last time you were here 3 weeks ago. And once again, the guards lead you up the, not circular staircase, but it sort of curves around to get up to the second floor, and then does so again to get up to the third. They walk you down the hallway. Isaac, you in particular are struck by the door just to the left at the very end of the hallway of the door that goes into Whitwer's study, where you and Grail did indeed have that escape after you've been listening in on the conversation and then jumped out the window, etc., etc. And it's kind of a somber reminder. Just like, yeah, I mean, Grail butchered that, but it was nice when she was here to butcher it. But they lead you down to the end of the hallway. And when they reach the end, one of them steps forward, keeps you kind of like 10 feet from the door, and raps on the door a couple times, like... And you hear a voice from inside that's familiar to most of you say, "Yes, come in." Guard pulls out a different key, turns it in the handle, pulls the door open, and says, "All right, all of you inside are going to be a little bit uncomfortable. Doesn't exactly have seating for this many people, but whatever, not my problem." And he sort of gestures that you go inside.
I'll go inside.
I'm gonna grab a chair. Well, I'm gonna go inside, and then we'll see if it's a lava pit or something. Actually, before I grab a chair.
You step on the floor, and your foot goes through it. The floor is an illusion.
Damn.
Hallucinatory terrain.
But yeah, if there are chairs, like if he's got two up by his desk, Tiziana and Isaac, I imagine, will take them, since we're sort of leading this.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Whitwer, you're so paranoid now. This used to be a nicer neighborhood, wasn't it?
As you step into the office,
Oh, God.
he opens fire on you. It is my turn to fire the gun. A few things kind of stick out. The elaborate decorations are still familiar. Whatever books you struck with your gunshot last time have been removed or replaced. There's no sign of the bullet having struck the really nice, elaborate, well-crafted bookcase behind the desk. There's still the familiar-looking man in a dark purple cloak. There's still that hood, pulled over his head to where you can only really see like his mouth and maybe his nostrils, but no other parts of his face. Can't really get a look at his eyes. And as you guys file in, Isaac and Tessian, you take your seats. You notice that Cavis kind of stays towards the front, sort of gestures to the Crusaders they're essentially flanking the door. And as it's closed behind you, you hear the lock turned again. But none of Whitwer's men come inside. If they're stationed outside or not, you don't know. You can't see anymore, but none of them enter the room. They don't follow you in. It's just the group.
They've locked us in the room.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not coming out of the closet.
I'm not in the closet.
Thank you.
Does he respond?
In response to what Isaac says, I need to set the stage first.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, you're just so eager to get to him. He says, yes, well, crime is on the rise here in Falstock. A once gentle place, peaceful, now beset upon by people willing to shoot others in the head upon their arrival. So, yes, it's not the pleasant town it once was. One could say that it has taken a turn for the worse, hasn't it?
What's up always with this? Like, can you not afford better clothes? Here, you know what? Just do yourself a favor. On me, and I flip him a silver. Buy yourself something nice.
It kind of clatters across the desk, and
To be fair, I toss it to him. I want to see.
You want to see if he's physically there?
See
Yeah.
if he's an illusion.
Oh,
I see.
is my
That's
detect magic
smart.
detecting any magics?
yeah, it's been less than 10 minutes. Let me see what Detect Magic does again.
The class and the spell, the type. No, excuse me. Oh shit. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, and 1 thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Okay, perfect. So that kind of happens first before the coin, so I'll resolve that first. You are detecting magic within 30 feet of you because the room is barely that big to begin with, and you're even closer than that, really. It is from the School of Illusion. However, as the coin kind of clatters across the desk and then hits Whitwer's body, bounces off of his form and seems to hit something tangibly.
Whitwer, are you actually gracing us with your presence this time?
Well, I thought it would be important if I have guests who are here to talk to me about terms of what I can and cannot do in my own city. And you notice, too, as he's drumming his fingers again like he was last time, they're still sort of hovering near this red button on his desk that never really came into play last time, but he still seems to be just absent-mindedly drumming fingers nearby it.
Listen, Whitfer, I admit there's not the best of blood between us here and yourself, but we're here to discuss something beyond Falstock here. I don't know if you've been made aware, but Faust Dryden has been taken into custody by the Empress. His crimes and evidence thereof have been presented to her, and he is to stand trial. Now, we have a sizable amount of evidence, but we are also aware that his dealings have been vast and varied. We are looking for any assistance, any help, any information, and any testimonies that could help put him away and help reveal the criminal efforts he's been dealing in, which is why we are here. We may have clashed in the past, but frankly, what you are doing here, whether we agree or not, pales in comparison to what Faust has been doing and what he planned. I don't know how much you are aware of it. That is part of why we are here. But we are standing before you, and hopefully you before us, so that we can discuss this and negotiate terms so that we can look the other way regarding what has happened in the past and work towards building a better future for both the Empire and for your place in the Empire.
Make a persuasion check.
Be good. Be good. 21.
Nice.